Interesting. Wait, is it not there, or is it not there? Okay, it isn't there. There it is. Pow. Pow? Amazing. God, what? They haven't brought back the things yet. It's annoying. You can't look at the leaderboards. What kind of game is that? Sorry, I just had to update that. Wait, hang on. I cranked the wrong one. Is that? Crank that one. There we go. I don't know which one's too loud, which one's too... There we go. Maybe. God, I can't even look at my old high school. What the hell? The last time I did this, it was like a couple of days, and now it's like... It's been a few weeks, and... But no. It's alright. Just have to live with it. You're still here, alien? God, I'm sure everyone else has left. It's got this empty feeling inside, you know. Ideas just aren't coming to me. Not today. Or yesterday. And do you know why it happens? Because I ate a whole packet of what are they, Skittles? Yeah. I don't know why, but they do this to me. Can't remember how long it lasts. But like, holy crap. So weird. Every time I do it, I remind myself, don't have these in the future. And then in the future I will do it again because I forgot. Kind of falling asleep earlier. But you're still awake, so that's a good thing. What would the time be there? Like 3, 4 o'clock? And you're falling asleep? Bit really tired when I for some reason. It was all that emotional spewing that I did in Discord today. It wasn't emotional spewing, I was just... I like going back to see my photos and stuff every now and then. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show everyone else too. Oh. Old man. Yeah, he's an old man. Alien's the old man. Old. Erectile dysfunction and everything. All of it. Losing control of his bowels. Permanent catheter. He hasn't hit the wheelchair stage yet, but if he stands up for too long, he can't hold in his shits anymore. So there's that. Disgusting. How did I say? Disgusting. Something. I was gonna try the endless mode on the game I got yesterday. And again, I think I might have gotten roped in by the advertising for it. Okay. We have to support our gaming creators, otherwise we don't have games. I come every day. I do, periodically. However, in the past like couple of years I've kind of died off. I don't give a fuck anymore. A bit more of a chore than anything. You really can't walk straight. If you can't walk straight just from coming every day, there's something wrong with you. Bum, 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 bum. Can't talk, my throat hurts. Don't talk then. Simple. You're cured. Now give me, where are we living? The USA. That'll be $7,000. God, their prices are ridiculous. Like, I was talking to Teddy the other day, right? And, told him about one time at a party. I had a friend and, like, he was just dead set on fucking himself up at this party, right? And the first thing he had was, like, just, I think it was, like, a bunch of Jaeger. I can't remember how much of that he had. It wasn't a full bottle. But there was nothing to dilute all of this, which was the main thing. And then what he did was, he got a whole big bottle of vodka, just a normal classic vodka, and downed that. And then he just sat there on this, he was sitting on this couch, a really old one. It was a student house. And he just sat there, staring into space. And I looked at him, and like right next to him, there was like this brown thing. And I was drunk at the time as well. And I just assumed that it was a shit. So I ignored it and carried on with the party. And I eventually asked him, because I was so drunk, I was like, do you need an ambulance? And he's like, he couldn't respond. He was too fucked. So I just called an ambulance. The ambulance came. We were like literally carrying him out, half dragging him. He didn't need an ambulance, but we were drunk, so we didn't really know. And oh no, actually, no, before they came over the phone, they're like, "Is he breathing?" And I'm like, I could barely speak. I told them, I was trying to tell them that I can't tell because I can't feel anything. I'm too drunk. It was like bubbling around his body. And they said something about compressions over the phone, so I started giving him compressions, and he's like, oh, vomiting away, like, because he didn't actually need it. And then of course they came, and they wanted to know who called the ambulance, so I just literally walked backwards into a bush, and luckily one of my friends volunteered, saying, I'll just go, and I think they had to pay like $50, you know, just for the ambulance. It's not a lot. And I told Teddy this, $50, and he's like, what? And like over there, it's like thousands to call an ambulance. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's the kind of money that most people can't afford to pay, you know, at a moment's notice. I mean, you never know when you're gonna fuck yourself up. You need healthcare. Where do you need it? Not a financial plan. Oh god, I remember why did I do that? That's one story. I'll give you another one. So this was an old group of friends. And I've kind of gotten back in touch with a few of them over the past few months. But back then would be about, oh wow, it would be maybe 5+ years ago now. And we went to a the stream or whatever thing to camp, and we made a fire and all that. And one of the people there is like one of probably the most wholesome guy that you could ever meet. And they but when they get drunk, they're a completely different person. Like, I mean, for example, like, he's not gay. However, when he's drunk, according to him, my legs and feet are a hell of a lot nicer than his girlfriend's. He loves them. But on this particular occasion, we had a fire. We all got drunk. We kept going, and it got to a point where we didn't want him to go any further because he can get really bad when he's drunk. Not like to us, but like to himself. So we told him to prove to us that he's not drunk, he needs to walk in a straight line to the river and back. Just like, you know, maybe 10-20 meters away. So he sprints towards the river over like all these rocks and shit and dives into the water and just doesn't come back up. So we had to run over and like fish him out of the water coughing and spluttering. He survives, obviously, but he's lying on the ground. I've got a photo of some of us all over him. I gave him a 5-star or something on his back. If you don't know what that is, you just give them a big slap, someone a really hard slap, and if you get all 5 fingers showing up, it's a 5-star. And then after that, we got him back to the fire, and he starts talking about how life isn't worth it and all that. And I'm sitting here like, I know what it's like. I haven't had it like that, but I kind of get what he means. But he starts trying to throw himself into the fire, like physically trying to put himself in the fire. And one of my friends, luckily, was just holding him back. I've actually got a video of it as well. He's full on throwing himself into this fire. And luckily we managed to restrain him and put him on a chair where he sat there. And I gave him like a one-on-one talk because he really trusts me for some reason when he's drunk. Probably because of my amazing legs and feet, as he says. And he said he's really glad that I'm there, and I'm a really good person. So I managed to get him to sit there, and I told him, you can drink again, only if you don't drink for another hour. You know, just so he can sober up a bit. He did that. He did that. And yeah, that'd probably be the end of that story, honestly. Yeah. Oh wow, okay. That all the stories are coming back to me now. So, I used to be quite a lot into the car scene back when I was a few years ago. But this wasn't really related to that. But we did used to drive like fucking maniacs. We were safe, but like, you know, say at a stop sign or something, we would fucking plant the foot once it goes green and all that, you know. And I made the wheels squeal once, but this was actually on accident when I was leaving the stoplight. And there was this family car behind me. This is nighttime, by the way. There's this guy, and he had his 2 daughters in the car. They were probably like, I don't know, at a guess his daughters would be like 15 or 16. And the dad just starts following me. I'm in the car with my friend, of course. Actually, no, it wasn't me driving, it was him. Yeah, no, it was my friend driving.
Oh.
And so we test him out a bit, you know. We go around a few corners a bit too many times, and he keeps following us. Go around a roundabout a few times, we're getting faster and faster. He's still following us, daughters in the car and everything. Really great fucking example. And then he so we're like, well, fuck, you know, this guy's just gonna keep going. So we just gassed it. He chased us all the way through town, daughters in the car, I'll keep saying. And there was like this, you know, you get those wee islands in the road. We started driving over that and driving around it. In the middle of the fucking road. He just keeps following us around and around, and I'm like, dude, you've got your daughters in the car and you're doing all of this. It's like, I know we made our wheels squeal at the stupid lights, but Jesus Christ, dude. So he kept following us, he kept going, and then we managed to get like a couple of blocks ahead of him, and we pulled over, and I told my friend to take his foot off the brake, right? Because if you have your foot on the brake, even if the car's turned off, the brake light will come on. But no, he didn't, so... So the guy obviously finds us, even though we parked on the side of the road. And we just sit here with our window there. We roll the window down and just sit there waiting for him to come up to it. He walks up and he's like, "What the hell do you think you guys doing?" Like as if it's us doing the bad thing, not like him following us as well with his daughters in the car. So, and then as soon as he comes up, we don't even look at him. We're just staring like dead ahead, and we just fucking plant the foot, skid away. We're going about like 110 in the 50k zone, which is incredibly stupid. But this guy was just relentless. And like just in the distance, there's like this cop car that sort of crosses. Somehow we didn't notice us, but we just slammed on the brakes and just turned the next corner, and that seemed to be enough to get rid of the guy following us. But man, what an example he set for his daughters, huh? Great example. Lovely father. What were you doing though? Nothing. We were just driving around. We accelerated a bit hard at one of the stoplights, and it made the tires squeal and all that. Ridiculous, stupid. Oh my god. God, I remember going to all the skid meets and all that. So it used to be quite a well-organized thing, right? Because obviously, like, the cops don't want us doing it. However, they know that they can't stop us. So what they do is they have all our names and stuff. We're all on the list somewhere. But they'll try and make sure that it doesn't happen in town, which is what we don't go in town anyway to do it all, because it's a pretty big meetup every Friday night it is. And everyone will bring their cars. I mean, back when I did, everyone had Sylvias and Skylines and all that, but most of those cars have been crashed now, so no one's got them anymore. And people would just sit there like, oh, actually no, here's a good one. So I had a friend, and he's so fucking, he's stupid. He's not there right in the head. Well, he's right in the head. He's just dumb, really dumb, with slight anger issues as well. And he had this shitty wee Celica. When he bought the Celica, the Toyota Celica car, the spark plugs, right? Well, what would happen is you'd drive it, you'd plant your foot, and it would be like really low on power. And then when you get to like, oh my god, when you get to the high RPMs, suddenly the power would kick in. And you sit and like we couldn't figure it out. And then like me and another friend, we just sort of had a look over the engine, and just out of curiosity, I checked the spark plugs, and Jesus, and they're not they weren't tightened. They were just finger tight. They were just sort of sitting there bobbling about. And I'm like, oh well, here's your problem. We tightened those up, and everything got fixed. Anyway, like one night at the skids, because he's an idiot, he sat there, put the handbrake on, planted his foot, wheels start spinning, and then he sits there constantly. It's not just like a minute or so, just, you know, letting out some smoke. He just sits there for about 15-20 minutes straight. God, there was so much smoke. Like, it's a pretty big meetup, right? Probably a good few hundred meters down a few roads. It's usually at an intersection, most of the places we go. And oh my god, I was about 100 meters away, and I had trouble breathing. I had to fall back. But like, there were guys up where he was, and somewhere in the smoke, because I couldn't see, there was so much of it. And he finally stops, and like, there's this guy's like, you know, really like hurling, trying to get stuff out of the throat and lungs and stuff. And I'm sitting here like, what fucking idiots. I'm like, wondering if I'm gonna have to call an ambulance for someone. But no, everyone ended up fine. They just fucked their lungs for no good reason. And I go over to his tires, and they weren't just bowled, they were melted. Like, there were like melted streaks going around the tire and stuff. I have no idea how it didn't catch on fire or how they didn't burst, but that's how it was. The wee wires in the tire were sticking out. And, oh. And then he drove back to town on that. Like, where we went was a good like half an hour, 45 minutes outside of town in the country. There's a photo somewhere again, but I don't know where that could be. He might have sent it to me, actually. Jesus Christ. Idiot. His brother, his older brother, who's exactly the same, just somehow worse, is basically on the run right now. Not from the police, from gangs. Like, because he borrows money from everyone, but he never pays back. Then one day he borrowed money from a guy who isn't afraid to fucking shoot someone. So he got held at gunpoint somewhere in one of the bigger cities. And now he's like been basically on the run since, and I don't know where he is now. For all I know, he's dead. Maybe he's in jail. I don't know. I don't keep in touch with eyes with them because they're both stupid. It's crazy the way some people go later in life. Absolutely ridiculous. Man. Now I need more stories. What the hell? What more stories do I have? It's like I had a whole bunch of them in my head, and now they've just disappeared. Well, I could tell you about a school camp once, but I don't think that one's quite as exciting as the ones I just said. I could tell you about my family issues. Oh, that would be a big one. Monka shit right there, bro. I don't even know how to react to Monka W. Like, what does it mean? I've never known. It's just one of those things. It's like, you know, before you know what SMH means, even though I put it in like every fucking sentence now. Well, I used to anyway. You just didn't know what it meant. It's like, is it like so much hate? Is it like, what is it? No, it's just shaking my head. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, so so in almost every car I've ever owned, I've owned about five cars, I think, 5 or 6. And in almost all of them, I've put a subwoofer, right? Because once you start using a subwoofer, you kind of can't go back because it just doesn't sound right anymore. But yeah, I had a subwoofer in it, right? And then for some reason, I'm like just driving around this car park, and I start hearing this really high pitched beeping noise. Oh god, this is leading on to something else. And well, I go to the back of my car, and there's a I realize what it might be, and it's a there's a fire alarm in my boot, and where that came from was one of my friends. Their was it their grandma? No, their granddad died, and the grandma was left, but apparently she was a bitch, and she didn't want him to get anything in his granddad's will, even though like in his will he's in his will. Fuck off. He told him he could have basically everything in the garage plus like a couple of cars that he had. So we did some covert ops. It took 2 tries actually. So where they lived was about, I think it's like a 3-hour drive away from where we live, and they the grandma, we had to make sure that she wasn't in when we went to grab everything, right? So we went there, and it turned out the first time we went, she wasn't in. So that was a day off work wasted. So we couldn't go in. And then the second day, she wasn't in. So we snooped around the house a bit outside because we couldn't get in. We didn't have a key. We eventually found a way in. Can't remember how. I think there was a window open maybe, and like one of us just hopped in and opened the door. So we got that open, got everything else open, and we had a trailer and a van and stuff to fit everything in. And we went there playing around with everything. And then we started looking around in their rooms because there was like this. There was a special watch that Max was supposed to get, really expensive one. Max, we're just gonna call him Max. But he yeah, we were looking through it, and he thought he knew where it was, right? So there was a specific drawer. We looked and it wasn't there. So we checked everywhere else, and he just blamed it on his grandma because he thought he just doesn't like her. So we checked the wardrobe, and we're having a pretty good time looking around, and then he just goes silent while he's in the cupboard, and I'm like, you there? And he comes out with a strap on. And we're like, oh, hang on. So we just put that back, and it's not really information you'd want to find out about your grandparents. Especially one that just died. Like, them. Who used it? Who was it? So we put that back, and we sort of continued onto the garage and started checking around there. We found an old, I think we found a couple of old fire extinguishers. We just sprayed those because they were old and basically past their use by date. We spent like half the day trying to get one of his old cars to start. It was like a really old vintage one. Eventually got it started, got it onto a trailer. There was another wee car, I think it was a Miata, or MX-5, or Roadster, depends what country you're in. We had one. I was like, can I have it? And he's like, no, my mom wants it. I'm like, fuck, because I just wanted a Miata. So, yeah, we get all that packed in, and the city that it's in is like basically within mountains. It's a student city, so technically a party city. There's parties all the time. I hate parties, but I went because I was dragged along to them. And this van was full of metal, basically. It was just all like workbench tools and all that, full to the brim, as well as the cars on the trailer, right? And this van just, I was sitting in first gear, foot flat, and we were going about 10 kilometers an hour up each hill. I just sat in the wee, like right to the left of the road so people could pass. But we had coffee and stuff. Actually, we made coffee as well. Had some drinks. Got some food as well. We just sat there. Didn't even have to hold your hand on the steering wheel. That's how slow we were going. We just ate. We spent about 3 or 4 hours just getting over these hills. When normally it wouldn't take that long at all. It'd only take like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And among all that stuff, he was like, he grabbed the stuff that he really wanted, and I just grabbed everything else and put it in my car. And among that stuff was that fire alarm, right? But yeah, so that was going off in the back of my trunk in that parking lot. And I was like, what the hell? I open up the boot, and all the steam smoke stuff comes out, right? I'm like, fuck, is my subwoofer dying? You know? Is it on fire or something? So I have a look, and no, it's not. And I find the source of it, and there was a can of starter fluid. You know, the spray starter fluid, which is like really explosive and flammable. That was being held open by the subwoofer, because the subwoofer moved about and pressed against it. And that was spraying, and then that set off the the fire alarm. And if there was a single spark, that would have gone up in flames, explosively. And while I was looking in here with all the smoke coming out, right, there was this lady with a fucking pram walking past. And she just gave me like an awkward look, like pretended not to notice me with a pram and just sort of kept walking past, not thinking to come and help. Well, she probably did think to come and help. She just didn't because she's an asshole. And just ignored me. And I look at her, and then she looks back at me, and I bow to her like, that actually infuriated me. I was like, why the fuck wouldn't you come and help, you know? She just carried on walking and left, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, there could have been something really bad going on here, and you just ignored me. I've never understood people who just don't get up to help someone if they need help. It actually annoys me so much. Like, whenever there's been someone that's been in trouble, I've just gotten up and helped them, because, like, you know, if I was in that situation, you know, and imagine if you got something happening to you, you're completely helpless. If someone doesn't help you, you're fucked. And then everyone just sits there staring at you, expecting someone else to do it. Ridiculous. That's how people die. So yeah, no, that was a pain in the ass. Oh yeah, I remember, so, McDonald's, right? You have to drive through. So, I wanted to see if we could get some free Maccas. McDonald's, we call it Maccas here in New Zealand. So, what we did was, there's a slight space between the two windows, right? So there's enough space for one car to sit between the two windows. So the first window you order at and pay at, and the second window you pick up your food. So the first one I ordered at. Well, no, I said my card declined, right? I just moved all my money out of my account, and then we and the client were like, oh well, fuck, you know, sorry. So we drove forward, and we just parked between the two windows. We didn't actually drive off. So the car behind us, they ordered their food, paid for it. So we waited like 5 seconds, and we like drove up to the second window, and they gave us, the people's behind us, food. And we just drove off. We're like, no, we're not sticking around for their shit. And we drove back past down the road like 5 minutes later, and they're still sitting there all confused, trying to figure out what's going on. And oh my god. Why is he explaining how to take out McDonald's works? You'll find out when it catches up. By the sound of things, there's a massive delay between me speaking and the actual story. At least by how you guys are typing. Man. Oh god, so this is the same guy. What did I call him? I called him Max. Max. The name. And he it was his birthday, right? And his parents have a pretty big place. Like sort of like a, what is it, like a farm thing? And oh but god, the music. The music stopped. There we go. And farm stay? I can't remember what it's called. Lifestyle block. That's what it's called. And it's a pretty big field, right? And this is like the middle of summer. Everything's dry. Lots of grass in there, but there's a big fire pit. So we all get drunk and stuff. And this is way out. Like the field is about maybe like a 5-minute walk from the actual house and any sort of like, you know, any sort of supplies like water and stuff. So there's a big fire pit there. It was already full of stuff. And he goes, we were going to use petrol to make it easier to light the whole thing. But he said, oh no, we'll use diesel, right? Because diesel fumes aren't, they're not flammable. Petrol fumes are, but diesel ones aren't. So it's a lot safer. It won't just explode in your face if you put too much on. So we did that. It actually worked quite well. So we had a nice big fire going. And of course, the wind starts up. And this fire is blazing like really high. Like, actually, no, let's rewind a bit. So we had to put some extra stuff in there. There were all these big logs around. And at that point, we were all really drunk. They were huge. So maybe about the size of me, right? And they normally would be too heavy. But since we're drunk, we can't really feel anything. So we were just lifting them by ourselves. Stupid. And I mean, the next day my back was fucked. But anyway, at the time it was great, you know. Threw them in, lit the fire. The wind starts up, and these big flames are like sort of lighting all the grass on fire. And oh my god. And then so all these fires start, and we're like, oh fuck, we're all freaking out and stuff. And we start running back to the house to try and get buckets and stuff to bring water. And it's like this really slow process. We're getting water, trying to put it out and all that. And oh my god. Oh god, and then the for some reason the neighbor's child jumps the fence and joins in. But in the worst way possible. Instead of like helping or staying away from the fire, they start like going into the smoke and stuff, they're coughing and all that, and it's like what an idiot. Like, I don't know, maybe 12-year-old daughter, I guess. 12, I'm guessing. Maybe even younger. Stupid. And then they got angry at us for it. It's like, control your child. Like, ridiculous. But yeah, no. Stupid. Oh god. So remember that guy that I said was stupid, right? The one who burned his tires out at that car meet. Well, skid meet, should I say? Fuck off. Oh, there we go. Well, Max, his dad, had this very rare Subaru, right? Subaru WRX, whatever the next one is, can't remember it, but it was a very rare version of it. And he just bought it, right? But he said, "Oh, no, you can take it out tonight, you know, to Max." And Max made the mistake of letting this guy drive. And so we get there fine. However, there was a co-pilot in the seat who's just as stupid, and who was also crashed. I think at the time he'd crashed about 3 Subarus. So now it's been a few years. I think it's almost like 7 or 8 of them. Ridiculous. And he's sitting there in the co-pilot seat, and the stupid guy is sitting driving. And me and Max are in the back. And there's these 2 hairpin corners going up a hill to one of these locations, right? Well, it's downhill going towards it, but on the way back it's uphill. And we're heading up it, and it wasn't Caleb driving, it was the co-pilot driving. Caleb was the co-pilot, but this other guy driving, the one who's crashed for, listens to Caleb. I'm just giving everyone's names. And he I don't know the other guy's name actually. Oh well. But he starts listening to him. Caleb's like, just trust me, my brother does this all the time. He's got an older brother, the stupid one. The one who got held at gunpoint because he doesn't pay money back. And he's like, just hold it at 3/4 throttle as you go around the corner. And I'm looking at these corners, they're hairpin corners. You can't go through those corners any faster than like 20 kilometers an hour. That's how they go there, then I'll do it with my mouth. They go there, up that way, then back up again. That's the kind of hairpin corner they are, right? And we're going 80, and like somehow, by the grace of God, we make it up the first corner, albeit slightly sideways. Then we get to the next one, and I tell them all to brace. I've got my hand up on the holding the wee handle thing, the Jesus handle, and I tell Max to brace. I sit back, head back and everything, holding on, and of course, around the next corner, we lose it, and somehow we don't go off the side of the cliff, but we hit the inside. So we hit the cliff side that's to our right, and we bounce off that, spin around a bit, bounce off the back again, and the car's fucked. It's all like mangled up. So somehow it still drives slightly sideways and a bit wobbly, but we sort of just drive it back to the bottom of the hill. And at that point we realize that Caleb has been knocked out the entire time. In the crash, he must have bounced up or something and hit his head on the roof. And yeah, he wakes up. He's an absolute idiot. We all call him that, obviously. Still think he's an idiot to this day, obviously, because it's a stupid thing to do. And no, don't worry, I've got plenty of stories, Alien. And yeah, we get back, and Max's dad sues Caleb, yeah, and for this, he's like, you've got to pay me 20 grand. You got to pay my money back because you got the car crashed. Also, actually, no, it was a joint one. It was for him and the guy who was driving. And it took ages, and eventually they managed to like wring the money out of them. And they got all that paid back. But luckily, he had a second one of these cars, so he just used the one that got crashed as a parts car. Oh yeah, holy crap, so dumb. Actual stupid. Actually, you know a story that I haven't told yet? It was the first time I got drunk. So, I think I was like 15 at the time. I was with Max. There was another guy who the other guy is one of the ones that I'm just getting back with now. And he yeah, him and yeah, me, Max, that guy, and there was a fourth guy, but he didn't drink because he didn't want to drink. He gets like kind of psycho when he's drunk, so he doesn't do it anymore. And he also had to put up with drunk parents his whole life. He had quite an abusive household. So somehow Max had managed to get hold of a really big bottle of Jägermeister. It's like 40% alcohol or something ridiculous. And oh yeah, we had like 3 bottles of wine there as well. And we the 3 of us finish off the Jägermeister first. It tastes like really strong licorice, if you've ever had licorice, the black stuff. And finish off that, and then I'm sitting here like I'm not feeling anything, I'd never been drunk before, I didn't know what to expect. And so I just started drinking the wine, 3 bottles of wine. Nothing in between, ridiculous. And it eventually just starts hitting us. We start talking about how everything's going like a bit wobbly and all that. It's all funny, haha. Things are going numb, We're like slapping each other on the arms, like, yeah, no, look, can't feel it, blah, blah. And then we decide to head out. And somehow, someone on the way out must have walked into my wing mirror on my car. Because, was it my car? No, it was Max's. He was older than me. I didn't have a car at the time. And it just broke it off. It just came off, but we didn't notice. We were like filled to the brim of alcohol. We start heading down the road. There's like a wee kids playground down the bottom. We had some fireworks with us. Set those off in the thing, and then there was like this there was this group of girls, but they were like solid 2s. Like uber fat, as in their front ass was bigger than their back ass, and wasn't sure where their boobs started and their stomach finished and all that. And like, but because of the state that we were in, we we were like, should we? Should we? Like, and luckily Max was like, no, 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 we can't. No. So we ignored them, and instead we headed to the local girls' high school, which has boarders, by the way. It's a boarding school, and we went through their tennis. Well, we went through the place. There was like a statue. We had a look at that, and yeah. So we had a look around. We got to the tennis courts, right? And there was a you know how a high tennis court I've got lots of stories. This is a big brain for a reason. You know how tennis courts have those really tall fences, right, around the outsides? I had the bright idea to try and climb over it, so I got halfway up, and my friends like jumped up and grabbed my ankles and pulled me down again, because like I'd probably kill myself if I got to the top. So it's a good thing that they did that. And then I was like, wow. Like, I was pretty astounded by my strength at the time, because when you're drunk, you get retard strength. And so I was jumping like really far and trying to jump really high and all that as we're going down the road outside this girls' high school. And I jumped into a bush, didn't feel it, carried on. They were doing stuff as well, but I can't remember. I can only remember what I did. And then this van pulls up. Like, the side of the van just opens up, and they're like, oh, you guys okay? You want to come in? And they're like, they aren't focusing on my friends, they're focusing on me, and they're like, don't do it, Renal, don't do it. And like, somehow, I just blanked out, then the van was gone. We carried on walking, and then, I started walking down someone's driveway. And there was this, I don't know if you've ever seen like Maoris and Islanders before, but they are massive, huge people, especially the guys. Massive, this massive brown dude just at the end of the driveway just starts absolutely bellowing at me, like screaming stuff. He's like, oh, get the fuck out of my, screaming, and I didn't even hear him. Didn't hear him at all. So he so my friends pull me back and we carry on. I didn't know why they did that until the next morning when they told me. And we carry on. And we get back to the house. Apparently we went out a second time, but I don't remember that. But we got back to the house anyway, and our friend there, I'll call him our guardian angel, who's used to looking after drunk people. He knows what to do. So the one friend, he I don't know what he did. He cut his hand somehow and he was bleeding everywhere. So he just himself, he put a sock over his own hand that was bleeding, and then he just passed down on the floor, just at the floorboard. He just passed out down and stayed there for the night. And Max, he lived there at the time, so he just he just went to bed. And then I was on the couch, and I sat there, and Jono could see, the guardian angel, he could see that I was that was close. He could see that I was not doing very well, I didn't feel sick or anything, I was just a bit too drunk, right? So he got me some water, and like I could barely hold, well no, actually no, he fed me the water, so he held the cup, and he I sat there and I was like, apparently I was calling it magic water. Which is stupid, but apparently that's what I was calling it. And then he thought he'd given me enough and all that, so told me to lie down. I laid down and I went blind. And this happens when you've got alcohol poisoning. You can go blind, but obviously me lying down with all the blood rushing to my head then when I lay down, that sort of tipped me over my head anyway, over the threshold. And I couldn't see anything, but I just vomited a couple of times and onto the floor. I was just chewed up chips and all that. And just went to sleep. Next morning, I was still drunk. I think I was anyway. I drove home, about half an hour drive. I did drive home, so maybe I was 16. Interesting. But yeah. Stupid night. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Oh, I had another one as well. Popped into my head, I just forgot. Yeah, no, I forgot what it was. I was gonna go off on a side quest talking about it, but I decided not to. Because it's a pretty good story all in itself. Oh, okay, no, I remember now. So, we, was it, I think it might have been the same house party, as I mentioned earlier. But, oh no, it wasn't. It was the same house, not the same party, so... I went there, got drunk as usual, and... oh yeah, it was supposed to be a, like a dress-up thing. I didn't dress up myself. However, my friend who doesn't normally go to parties, he's actually quite... He's like, if you think of someone who obsesses over Pokemon and then times it by 5, that's him. He's like a serious Pokemon player. And he's got the body for it. He's like a quarter Japanese or something. His mum's blind and he's blind as well. All his joints are fucked. His whole body's falling apart and he's like early 20s now. Somehow he survived getting COVID as well. And he was just standing there in his Batman costume in a corner the whole night because he didn't want to do anything. And anyway, it continued. We'll carry on. So the usual drunk games or drinking games, you know. Pull out cards, and depending on what you pull out, you have to do something with some other person. I had this girl. She was quite nice looking, but she lived in, you know, 2-hour drive away from me, so nothing would work. Unless it was like a one night or something. And the first one was like, oh no, you gotta lick that foot. Did it, you know, I was drunk. Who cares? My mouse would probably sanitize the foot more than anything. And then the next one was like, she had to drink something out of my belly button, so did that. It carried on, and then that finished, and turned out someone had bought some weed or something. So I'd never had weed before. So I was like, oh, you know, fuck it, I'll try it. I'm drunk. Usually I wouldn't, but if I get drunk enough, I'll be like, yeah, why not? But it turned out it was laced with something. We still don't really know what it was laced with, but I went pale. Like my insides were just like sort of sparkly, but like not in a good way. And I went pale, right? And I was so nauseous. And apparently I was like sweating droplets. Like you could actually see droplets coming down my face and stuff, and I was white as anything. I was feeling really sick, and I was standing next to the sink, and in the sink were all of these in the sink there were all of these dishes waiting to be washed. And I was standing over it like, I'm gonna vomit, and I kept looking at it like, I do not want to vomit in this, because like that would be a nightmare in the morning. I do not want to vomit in this. And I managed to resist the urge to vomit, and so I went outside, and the guy who was in a Batman costume, he comes up to me and he's like, he's really worried because he's not used to this kind of stuff, and he's like, do you want some water? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not? So he brought some to me, and holy crap, one sip in and I felt like gold. Like, it fixed me up instantly. So I had a few glasses, and that really helped, and then I just carried on drinking. And then it's at some point in the night someone ordered pizza, and I don't know how so many people turned up, but some people must have just turned up because I saw a party was there. It was like a student area of town, so it's pretty normal. And they ordered pizza, and this pizza guy comes, the poor guy, and he he gets like surrounded. This massive group of drunk people just all around him, and he's got the pizzas, and the pizzas are just being taken off him, and I'm not even sure if anyone paid for the pizza. he just ended up leaving eventually once he escaped. And it turned out in the flat, some guys actually had work in the morning, and their cars were there, right? But for some reason they'd left their cars unlocked, and when it got later on in the night, people needed places to sleep, right? So everyone, oh no, the music, and everyone obviously piled into the cars where they could to sleep because it was comfy and warm, and you know, not everyone else sat inside the house. And Because some people were starting to go to sleep in there, and like the people who needed them were like getting all pissed off, like, oh, I need this in the morning, blah blah. And but they couldn't get them out because they're drunk. You know, they don't actually even they don't even care, let alone like trying to get a drunk person to move. And
Oh.
meanwhile, I was inside the house. I can't remember exactly what I was doing. Oh, that's right. We were having arm wrestling contests. I happen to be very good at arm wrestling, especially especially when I'm drunk as well, because you get the extra boost of strength. So I won all of them. I had my shirt off and stuff. I was getting like some people put numbers on my back and all that, but I could never read them. So, and I'd left my jersey or something in someone's room, or at least I thought I had. And I went into it fully drunk. And apparently there was this guy. He was like super ripped, and he was screaming at me. He was like, "I'll fucking rip your head off and shit," like right in my face and all that. I didn't even know. I was just trying to find my jersey. never found it, but I got dragged out and the door got slammed shut behind me. So that was alright. And in the morning, so there was this one guy who was supposed to be gay, and we're all up in the morning doing all this stuff, and there's this one door that's still closed. So we like sort of gently open the door and peek through, and this quote unquote gay guy is with this girl. She's bent over and all that. You can kind of guess what's going on, and it's just this ever so slow slap, 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 just thrusting in like ever so like rhythmic. So he just closed the door and just left him to it. So it turns out no, he's not actually gay. Stupid. Yeah. You can't with these stories. Hey man, I've despite how it felt at that time, they were the good days. The good days the good days are only good days once they're past, right? It's kind of sad in a way. It's like there's this thing that I've got. It kind of goes like the longer you stay with me, the better off you'll be when you leave me. Almost everyone that I've gotten real close with, when they eventually leave, something will happen in their life that'll be really good for them. Whether it'll be like a personal improvement, or they'll get in a, like a good relationship, or, something really good will happen to them. I used to flirt with this girl once. She was like full on 10 out of 10 kind of thing, and she was a bit off though. I'd admit. It was my penis talking, not my brain, with most of it. However, she was very capable, so, or very intelligent, should I say? Just I find that really attractive. And obviously we're flatmates, so there's like it's kind of like an unspoken rule that you don't go out with your flatmates. But I wanted to give it a go anyway, and so it got to a point, and she kind of half said yes, half said no. Actually, what was weird about her was she would always come in and we would always sleep together. Like, talk about sleepless nights, right? Especially like, how old was I? I think it was like 19 or at the time, maybe 20. And yeah, so she would come in every night and we'd just sleep together. It was weird. And yeah, we went to saw a few movies, and she we tried, but then she just said no after a while. So that was alright. That's fine. And then after about a week, she wanted to go see a movie or something with me. So I said yeah, and it was actually really good. Then at the end of the movie, she like wanted to talk to me like really seriously. She was like, "Oh hey Renal, I actually really enjoyed the movie," and I could see where it was going. She was gonna say okay, but at that time I was I was pissed off. I don't want to deal with that. So I just said, yeah, that was really good. I just turned away and drove off. And in my rearview mirror, I could just see her standing there, like, shocked. And like I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was like to get a sense of like how I got you back kind of thing. But like about 2 months after that, they literally found the love of their life. Um, they're still together. They're married. Everything. Traveling the world. Well, they were before COVID anyway. Another example. One of my exes. They always had these confidence issues, and they were always a little bit stupid. Not like stupid. They were just really clumsy, and they wouldn't think things through. And it was at a point where like I was worried for their safety because of it. And we ended up not working out. We didn't break up hard. We just sort of broke up. You know, we're still on good terms and all that. However, about 2 weeks after that, because we still kept in touch and stuff, I found that their confidence levels were up, as they were thinking things through. They were a lot safer, a hell of a lot less clumsy, and all that. And I'm like, well, you know, it happened again. Lovely. I've got so many examples of that. I don't know if it's just a thing. Like, I don't end up getting anything out of it, which is the. I don't mind it. I like helping people, but at the same time, it's like, dude, please, anything. But yeah. Oh my god, I'm running out of sun. Let's get ourselves there. Oh, yeah, so essentially that's where it comes. So like, that last one was like the most recent person for that to happen to. And they, yeah, no, they definitely, I was with them the longest, right? And they got the most out of it, in my opinion. So again, you know, the longer you're with me, the better off you'll be without me. When we eventually do our ways, you know, to part ways, you know. I don't really know how to feel about it, honestly. But it's consistent. It always happens. Oh god, even my family, so, we, too dank. My, oh, I've got more stories coming up. Anyway, I'll stick with this one for now. So, my family's, like, it wasn't always a happy family, right? You know, police got involved kind of thing. But, obviously the story differs, whether you ask my mom or my dad. So, for my dad's side of the story, my mom was low on iron. You know, the iron levels in your blood. And, he was right. She was. You know, she was getting memory problems because of it. She was always tired. Well, once she got on top of that, she was actually fine again. Back to her energetic self, intelligence, all of that. And, my dad had, like, serious, like, issues in his head. Well, not in his head, more like, I'd say more like stress issues, stress handling issues. Obviously, stress can transform itself into like anger and all this other stuff. That's where the police came in. But he was really bad. Like, I understand that it wasn't just one person's fault, but holy crap, I think a lot of it was definitely him. Like when it got to like my later high school years, when he got all the big tests coming up, he was stressing himself out because like I was so relaxed about it and all that, but he was stressing himself out to the point where he was vomiting. Like, he was actually vomiting. He was so stressed out, and he was like staggering about the place, and he was blocking. Like, he trapped me in the kitchen once and blocked me there, and I couldn't get out. He was physically stopping me, and eventually I just ran out. He stuck a knife into the table a few times at dinner. He would always bring this stuff up at dinner, and holy crap, that just did not. What a fucking hellhole to live in at the time. Eventually the police got involved, and we managed to force him to go and see a counsellor and like a psychologist, and he managed to work through most of his issues. They're still there, but he's managing them a hell of a lot better. And of course, when that happens, I move out, right? I no longer see them for about 2 or 3 years, and I come back, and it's so calm. The household is calm, the animals are calm. You can always tell by the animals. If the animals are on edge, you know there's something wrong with the family. If they're not, it's a good place. and everything was just calm. So my entire life here, well, at least once we moved to New Zealand anyway, was just absolute hell. But the no, so my younger brother was about 8 years younger than me, so he got to live through all this good stuff. I mean, good for him, I guess. At least he gets a nice childhood. But yeah, I mean that's where I am right now, huh? Broke up with my last partner. Now I'm living here. Um, so yeah, it's quite calm. However, I find my dad can be quite clingy, stressful clingy, not like clingy. Um, Actually, a lot of that contributed to so, you know, you go through puberty, right, and it manifests itself in different ways, and a lot of people will get depression. That's what I got. Um, I got pretty bad. Um, However, I'm quite a realist. I think realist is the best way to describe it. Um, so killing myself was obviously out of it. There was a little bit of self harm there, not too much, because I eventually just thought, well, this is stupid. You know, why the fuck am I doing this? What's it gonna do to help? Like, in all seriousness, what's it gonna do? So I decided to go to the gym, swole renal. Um, yeah, no, because like in that way I could induce pain, right? However, it's positive pain. So I actually went 5 days a week, every week for about I think it was like 7 or 8 months. I got like super ripped, super bulky, and all that. It actually affected the way I thought. I started thinking a lot differently. I actually gained back the personas that I had in high school. Um, Also, it was a way to stay out of house, out of home. Um, just the longer I worked out, the longer I could stay away, right? I mean, I know I had a car, but by the time I got out of the gym, because I went with a friend. Actually, the friend was the guardian angel that we had when in that drunk story, my first time getting drunk, and like I couldn't steer. Like, you got power steering, right? However, it did not feel like power steering once you've been working out for like 2 hours. Oh. Pumping iron. So, yeah. God, I used to work out so hard. So it actually got to a point where like my vision would get bad. So what we'd do is we'd drive across the road. There was a supermarket there that stayed up really late. Stayed open really late. And so went there, and I would always buy some, little cans of fish. You get like the ones that they've got like maybe a chili in them or something, or they got like tomato sauce with the fish in it, because they taste great and they got lots of protein in them. And honestly, like, the times when my vision would start giving out, that's how like tired I was and all that. I would have some of it, and my vision would just come back, clear as day. I mean, I wear glasses now, but my eyes were actually really good back then. But yeah, no, they're just clear as day. It's crazy. Ooh, oh god, one of the instructors I had there, he was really good. However, um, he never cancelled my payments. So he moved off to Canada, right? And 3 years down the line, I checked my account and I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm still paying him. It's like 3 grand. 3 grand he had sitting in his account, and I tried to get it out of him. I went to the bank and stuff, but he eventually just blocked me, and I gave up. I'm like, well, I don't have that money to begin with, so I'm not really losing anything, even though I had been paying him. In my mind, it's not really losing something. I'd spent 3 years not doing perfectly fine. Obviously, he was doing fine as well with my money, but yeah. And my voice is getting raspy. I keep thinking about picking up singing, actually. However, I have a hard enough speaking normally, let alone singing. Plus, I get embarrassed easily. And also, I know that if I do start singing, everyone's gonna be like, oh, okay, can we like watch? I'm like, why the fuck do you need to watch me sing? Like, I have anxiety. I like social anxiety. It doesn't work like that. Everything will just go to shit. Why did all this happen again? In New Zealand, um, I think yeah, every story I've said has been within the past 10 years. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'll probably never go there. Look, dude, honestly, as a country, it's not bad. Um, the benefits are great. Um, healthcare, great. Um, really good healthcare, really cheap. In fact, if you go to the hospital to the ER, you don't have to pay. They'll just treat you, and that's it. You just walk out. You don't have to do anything. Um, yeah, no, it's all really. It's actually really good. Nothing's expensive really. Well, no more or less expensive than anywhere else really. Um, more on the cheaper side, I'd say. Healthy food is really cheap, and unhealthy food is actually quite expensive. So you can eat better. Says all the dudes who lived in those countries. I've lived in multiple countries. I'm speaking from experience. But yeah, no, it's actually pretty good. Yeah. You know, while I was saying that, I had another story come up. It's disappeared again. Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, because I was born in South Africa, and then we moved to Wales, and then we moved to New Zealand. And we spent a lot of time in Germany as well, because a lot of my family lives there. Um, we would stay a little bit at on the way traveling there once we were in New Zealand. Um, we went through America to get to Europe once. Never doing that again. America was a horrible place. When we got there, everyone who didn't have an American passport had to stand behind this yellow line, right? Like you couldn't even be near the yellow line. And that was this old lady, and she had a bunch of stuff. She was kind of struggling to carry it. I almost actually offered to help her with it, but before I did, some of the guards came up and they're like, we've got to take you away for questioning. To the lady, this old hag, right? Old lady. And I took her away for that, just because she's standing closest to the stupid yellow line. Ridiculous place. I would hate to live there. And, but yeah. Uh, we went to Dubai. Dubai is a great place. They've got a lovely airport. It's actually probably one of the newer ones in the world, I think. But holy crap, it's hot there. You know when you open the oven and you get a big blast of heat coming from inside there? It's like that, but constant. So like inside the airport, it's obviously heavily air conditioned. However, you leave the airport to go outside to get to the plane, and you just get hit by a blast of heat. It's so fucking hot. It's just kind of interesting being in a plane flying over Dubai because you got all the wee desert towns, and they just glow in the night. It's quite cool. We went through Hong Kong, right, literally like, so you know the year that COVID happened, at the end, that at the Christmas that just before that, about 2 weeks before that Christmas, we travelled through Hong Kong. On the news there, this was like 2 months before the. I should make this just chatting, right? Hang on. Boop. And yeah, it was about 2 months before any of the rest of the world became aware of COVID and started locking down, right? And all over the Chinese news, there was COVID. They were talking about the outbreaks was everywhere and all that, and they were literally pulling passengers to the side to to test them. They were taking temperatures and all that, and it was pretty crazy. They even pulled my little brother aside. They didn't even ask. They just pulled him aside, tested him, sent him back again. So we went there. Um, then we went to Britain to see my granddad for a while and some other family. I went to see the Tank Museum and stuff. And yeah, and then about 3 weeks later, we came back through Hong Kong, and there was some guys. There was like people like genuinely sick. So many people were sick there, and I'm pretty sure my dad caught it. We're fairly certain. However, like, we just treated it like a flu, right? We just locked him in his room, gave him food every now and then. We didn't actually have any contact with him, and he got over it. No one else caught it. But yeah, God. And then what's another airport? Singapore. Singapore is an amazing airport. Definitely the best one. They've got fish, and they've got like all these big games, like we remote control car games and stuff on the ground you can do, and it's pretty good. Tank museum. Yes, the tank museum. Oh, the tank museum was a fucking story and a half. So going to the tank museum was for my birthday present. I was there. Unfortunately, we went with not only my dad but also his dad. Now my dad has massive father issues, so I just wanted to, when I go to a museum, I'll just I'll do like a good walkthrough, check everything out, then I'll come back and have a proper look through, right? Because otherwise I might just miss everything, because we'll be like, oh no, we're leaving now, so fuck you and what you wanted to see. So I was doing that, and my dad was getting all stressed out. He's like, no, don't do that, like, and like literally in public, we're sitting there, he's screaming at me, like telling me like, you know, I'm gonna annoy his dad, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about granddad. This is my birthday. This is for me. So I just walked off. I can deal with it. Like, I'm old enough now that a physical encounter isn't too much of a worry anymore. And so yeah, I just ended up doing my own thing. What a birthday, huh? Yeah, what a fucking stupid birthday. It's kind of crazy, right? So whenever I have Subway, I'll usually have sweet chili on my Subway, and the sweet chili here is sweet. It's a bit chilly. Dad's dad and the dad as well. I know it's annoying. Dad issues, and they yeah. Yeah, and then I go to Singapore, right, and I order exactly what I order in New Zealand. However, Singapore's version of sweet chili is like New Zealand's hot spicy chili, which I didn't know. So I got extra sauce on, and that was like really hot. Biggest mistake of my life. However, what wasn't the biggest mistake of my life was us going to Singapore. All of the women there, at least in the airport, were they made the jet lag go away, if you know what I mean. They all looked amazing. It's the same in London, actually. In London City, all of the women there look really nice. None of them are overweight, you know. It's really good. However, then we come back to New Zealand and it's like, damn, well, we're like second only to America in obesity, the people that live here. Luckily, I am not from here, so I am not privy to this. Oh, actually, no, I said this on a previous stream. You know what? I'm gonna say it on this stream as well, because I might make these stories into a bit of a series. Huh? Enough ramble, human. I'm gonna tell you the poop story here, O'Brien. So, so when we moved to New Zealand on the plane flight over here, we I had to poo. Shit story. Wait, no, I got to go back a little bit further. It's right. So I woke up on the plane, right, and I had a really bad stomachache, like super bad, and I just felt horrible. So I was like, I think I was almost 7 years old at the time, and here it comes. And so we went down. They asked if there were any doctors on board. So like a couple of doctors came up and a nurse and all that. I mean, my parents are nurses as well. But they didn't want to deal with it. So they come up and there's this one there's this German doctor's there, and there's a South African doctor. The German one's like, we could give him a suppository. Now, what a suppository is it's a really big pill, and it goes up your ass, and it knocks you out. It just knocks you out. you'll be out for the count for like a day or two, depending on how big you are. And the German, was it? No, the South African doctor behind them was like shaking his head as us, like, no, don't do it, kind of thing. And so yeah, eventually we decided not to do that, and I went to the toilet, and my mum took me because I was young. So we went and I sat down and took a shit, stood up, and what's left is this giant, like, shit, like if you get your forearm kind of shit, and leaning up against the side of the toilet bowl. And my mom was amazed by it. Like all the way down, she was like, "Do you always do poos that big, Renal?" I'm gonna have to censor that now. And they're like, yeah, all the way down. And people were looking at us as we we're going down, and she starts telling my dad about it. And she's like, "You know how big renal shits are?" Leaked name. It's gonna get censored. I don't actually care, to be honest. I want to see renal is more of a name to me than anything else. And my dad was getting like so awkward. He just felt so awkward and embarrassed. He was like, "Can you shut up? You know, people are looking at us and all that." And I felt better. I was amazed. I was actually laughing a little bit because I felt so good. And yeah, stupid story. But yeah. Oh, what else? I should probably end it there. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a massive video to edit. I mean, I'm just gonna cut out and make like a video out of each story. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah. There's a whole lot of other ones that keep coming to mind, but I think I should leave those for another day. So yeah. Who were you talking to? Tank guy, forehead guy. It's weird how online names work, huh? So I get called Renal, more than I get called my real name. Well, it's Renal. There's Lola, Loli, because obviously I run the Loli page. So on my page itself, people just refer to me as admin, but I'm pretty sure that's I'm fairly certain that's just a normal thing for page people. You get called admin. Yeah, it was Loli, Lola, and Renal. Actually, for a while it was Grim as well. Stop the old names. The old names will persist, alien. My very first gaming name, so to speak, or online name, was the Grim Raper. Not the Grim Reaper, the Grim Raper. And somehow I managed to keep that name for about like 5 or 6 years. And then I had it in Water Tanks, and about 2 years later, obviously enough people had reported it to get it taken down. So that's where Renal Failure was born. God, that was a while ago. 6 years ago? Kind of? 6 or 7 years ago? Exclusive tank or law park man. Are you having trouble typing now, alien? But yeah. I don't know why, but Renal Failure kept coming into my head, right? I didn't really know what it was at the time, so I just called myself Renal Failure. And people just started calling me Renal. Yeah, it's honestly, it's as much of a name as my real name. If not more, honestly. I talk to more people online than I do in real life. And people use your name more online than in real life, huh? If you think about it, like, when do you actually use someone's name in real life? You just start talking to them. At least that's how it happens, if you speak English. Yeah. But online, you're like, "Hey, Renal." Oh. You're gonna call me Tom now, huh? You know what? Where's the Thomas the Tank Engine jokes, huh? You better bring them all out. What about the failure jokes? Oh wait, you've already done that. Fully original. You guys are the first time I've ever heard them. ever in my life. Oh my god. Tommy guy, Tommy gun. Am I just a tomboy? Am I actually a female who likes stuff that boys like? What about Tom Cat? Huh? Huh? I'm everywhere. I've infiltrated every part of your life. Timothy. Nah, that's not funny. That's just stupid. Thomas, huh? Tom Billy. Well, what's the time? 10:30. It's still a 3-hour stream. Interesting. Damn, I'm gonna have to really sift through that to get anywhere. I might highlight this. Is my stream cutting out? What the hell? What's taking it up? Okay, I'm just gonna end it now since my stream is apparently going red. 2,000 kilobits a second. Like, what the hell? What if I start the game? Bah, bah, bah. Red stream. I don't even know what's happening. Why is it doing that? What if I change some stuff? Pow, pow. Okay. I will type it. Ending stream now since it's fucking up. Thank you for joining.